So a little different on the hunt today. Down here in Atlanta, and if you recall in the movie Smokey and the Bandit, they hauled beer from Atlanta to Texarkana, Texas. But they actually didn't go to Texarkana, a little bit of movie magic there. They just drove around in circles around Atlanta. And I'm in a small town called Jonesboro, which is southeast, just southeast of Atlanta. And this is where the majority of the film was made. If you recall, in that one scene when they got to Texarkana, Burt Reynolds in the Trans Am and then Jerry Reed falling behind in the old Kenworth, drove past a building that had a sign on it that said Texarkana, and that's the building right there. So they came right down this street. And it's amazing that the buildings are still here and obviously been redone over the years, but it's kind of cool. This is where they would have stopped and parked when they were going to load up the 400 cases of Coors. And that arts gallery there, that's what they stopped and parked in front of, and that was the I guess the beer store where they were getting the 400 cases of Coors. So we'll go in and take a closer look at that. So again, this was the building on the end of the street. It's now an arts gallery, but now this is where they picked up the beer, and it's really cool. I just peeked in the window here. I don't know if I can make this work, but you can kind of see where there was an original door there that they kind of filled in. So that would have been the facade of the building 40 years ago, and that was actually the door that that Burt Reynolds kicked in. And then if you look here, it might be a little better, you can see it. So that was the opening where he opened the doors and said, hey, you want a beer? And then there was one more door over there behind that kind of green and purple painting that they filled in. And if you look at the movie, that was where they there was a bunch of kegs in front of there. So this is where Burt Reynolds drove Jerry Reed on the Heister forklift and knocked him over all the all the cases of beer. This is pretty neat. This would have been where they did the truck rodeo thing in the beginning.
Son, from what I've heard, the biggest thing about the Bandit is his ego. And I figured that, plus a lot of my dollars, and he'll try anything, legal or not.
See, son, old legends never die, they just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life, Daddy.
And then this would have also been at the very end where Jerry Reed probably would have run his Kenworth through the gate there, and this was the area where they were having that, I guess it was a horse race, and Big and Little Enos Burdette were sitting on the infield there.
Daddy, you're about to have your evening ruined for you.
And if you remember, they gave him the Cadillac right at the end, old Big Enos, and Bert and Jerry and Sally Field went off in the red caddy up that road there. Right past those grandstands. So they're still here. There's not much else that's left. It's actually a parking lot for some amphitheater, and then there's actually a movie studio. It's all fenced off now, and kind of in the back there, just behind these trees, you can just see the peaks of that. It was kind of a replica of an old Spanish structure, and you can see it in the back of the movie. Looks like they repainted the pillars there. Can't quite make it out, but that's kind of the building that was in the background. So this area that I'm standing on is where the majority of the very beginning and then the very end of the movie was filmed. Boy, time and the elements are not kind to to neat old history. Again, there's just not much left of this. All overgrown. There's the stands. That's where everyone was sitting and cheering. It's very cool. Very cool to be here, but kind of sad actually that all this stuff has just been left to rot out, but I guess that's the way it works. All in the name of progress. Pretty neat for me though. I mean, I grew up watching that show. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. I noticed about every line in it. And to be standing where it was filmed. This is cool. Now I just need to build the truck. Alright, so in another infamous scene in that same movie, you recall when Sally and Bert jumped the Trans Am over that river.
Yeah, but sure, he's getting away. Son, he's not going anywhere. The Mulberry Bridge has been dismantled for the past 6 months. Oh.
Looks like it's been out for a lot longer than that. So those posts there are all that's left. So they would have came shooting through there and then jumped the Trans Am up and over. Pretty neat. Now back then it was a pretty remote area. Now it's a 4-lane freeway and a storage facility and a gas station. So it shows if you buy some land out in the country and wait long enough, the city will come to you. That's pretty neat. That's where exactly where it was filmed and where they jumped it, and then probably destroyed the Trans Am upon landing. So last stop on the tour. So if you recall, there was a moment in the film where Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, and Jerry Reed pulled over and decided to give Fred a couple cheeseburgers, and then they were off again.
Hello, Frog. What's big Fred, Frog?
Hey, Fred.
Frog. Big Fred.
And then Fred the dog there wanted to go for a swim, and Jerry had to go running after him.
Get over here, Fred. Come here. I'm in a hurry and you want to take a swim. You drive me crazy, Fred.
So that would have been the pond right there, where Jerry would have jumped in to get his dog, his loyal dog Fred, and there's the White House. You can see it in the background in the movie. It's actually still in really nice shape. So it shows 40 years of evolution and progress. It looks like they're widening this to become a 4-lane freeway, and now there's a subdivision on the other side of the road, and actually right on the other side of those trees is a giant high school. But it's neat, this is the actual spot where it was filmed. Cool. Now let's get back to hunting for trucks. I travel around a lot for my job, and I'm always keeping an eye out for trucks in farmers' yards and just hiding under trees and in fields. And this is actually an RV storage yard, and I caught this as I was driving by, an old 900A. You can see the old Canadian intakes, little coffin sleeper on it. Check out the tire chains. Nice. I wonder if they use it for moving trailers around, but it's got a tow bar on it. Single stack there. It's probably an old Cummins in it. Neat. I wonder what the story is on that. I should go ask the guy. But yeah, when you're on the hunt, you got to keep looking for trucks wherever they might be. Find that little gem. Okay, so here's an old Kenworth. Looks like about a mid-70s. It's been used for farm use. I think it's a 76 or something. Day cab though. Definitely dirty, needs a little cleaning. But this is pretty sweet. An 18 in it someone put in. Same A-block cat. It's in mine. And the guy was saying there was a bad injector. Looks like the power steering pump's leaking. It's a neat old truck. And the price he's asking for it is sure worth it. But what's interesting is these diffs. Check out that funky leaf spring rack. It's almost like a reverse kind of thing. Never seen that before. And then this is almost a top loader diffs. Very rare. I haven't seen this very often. Again, supposedly it was running in April. The price sure is right. So how do you like that hood? Now all I need is a truck to go with it. So many are probably asking, why does he have a hood when he doesn't have a 900A yet? And the answer to that question is this hood came up on Kijiji and it was just too good of a price to turn down. And it's got the non-Canadian deal that I really like. So I just had to pick this up. I figure odds are if I find the Kenworth I'm looking for, it's going to have the Canadian intakes, and then problem solved. And worst case, I could always sell it somewhere down the line. So I picked that up. Just a great guy. He had a bunch of old awesome Kenworth parts, and he also had some Bud wheels laying around that I figured you know, many of the trucks that I'm looking at either have steel wheels or those god-awful Daytons, and I know they could take more weight, but they are ugly. So I picked up the set of rims. Gave me a great deal on those, and a few more other Kenworth parts. So we're getting ready. I'm gonna put it out there that we're gonna find the right truck and build the old Smokey and the Bandit ride.